One of the many criticisms I hear about FreeBSD is that it doesn't have any software for people who want to use it on the desktop. And perhaps one of the most important applications we use almost every day is a web browser. Well, FreeBSD has more than enough, and in this video I'll be showing you just how many there are. It's not going to be an in-depth review of each web browser, but just a general overview, and really it's just a showcase just how many are available to us. Anyway, on with the video. The first two on the list I think you will be quite familiar with. The first is Mozilla Firefox, or just simply Firefox, and it's a free and open source web browser developed by the Mozilla Foundation. It uses the Gecko rendering engine to display web pages, which implements current and anticipated web standards. And you can have pop-up blocking, tab browsing, extension themes. You can have the full works. And it's the one that I use pretty much on a day-to-day basis. Next is Chromium, and it's a free and open source web browser, mainly developed and maintained by Google. This codebase provides the vast majority of code for the Google Chrome browser, which is a proprietary software, and some additional features. There's also an ungoogled version for those who may have concerns. This is also a very widely used one. I don't know if it's market share wise compared to Firefox, but it's very popular. The next one you might not have heard of is Badwolf, and it's described as a minimalist and privacy-orientated WebKit GTK Plus browser. And as it says, it's privacy-orientated. That means there's no browser-level tracking. JavaScript is off by default. It's minimalist, customizable, powerful and usable, and no annoyances. And you can't argue with that. Next one is Browsh, and it's a fully modern text-based browser. It renders anything that a modern browser can: HTML5, CSS3, JavaScript, video, and even WebGL, which I didn't test. Its main purpose is to be run on a remote server and accessed via SSH or Mosh. Don't know what Mosh is. Or you could just run it in your terminal emulator. Castor is a graphical browser for text-based protocols written in Rust, also with GTK+, and it supports Gemini, Gopher, and Finger protocols. Dillo might be known amongst many of you, and it aims to be a multi-platform alternative browser that's small, stable, developer-friendly, usable, fast, and extensible. Dillo is based upon FLTK rather than GTK1, and has been substantially rewritten over the period of time. It doesn't render everything perfectly, but it's, for basic web browsing, it'll do the job. Dooble, the Weatherbug browser. That's very strange. It's minimal, cute, and unusually stable. So they say. And the features are, it's a web browser, it's got basic themes, it's compact, it's got a cookie crusher, custom search engines, custom style sheets, it's documented, I hope so. No, it's domain restrictions, it's got favorites, a floating digital clock. That's actually quite useful. It supports FreeBSD, Linux, Mac, and Windows. So they mentioned FreeBSD first, so that's cool. It's got Gopher support, multiple private instances, original implementations of AES 256 and FreeFish 256. It's Qt only dependency, or it can have Qt5 or Qt6, and it's Windows portable. Oh well, can't have everything. Next is Elinks. Elinks is the Lynx web browser with many bug fixes and enhancements. As Lynx, as in Links, not Lynx. So far, Elinks adds the following: 2 links, so it's almost like enhanced links, really. Bug fixes, Lua support, cookie expirations, ability to modify user agent strings, unhistory, support for editing text areas, and so on and so forth. So it's pretty nifty actually for a text web browser. Next is, I don't know how to pronounce this, Eolie is a new GNOME or GNOME web browser. Some of its features are, and it blocks ads, JavaScript pop-ups, and phishing URLs. Navigation profiles, Firefox sync, you can have full screen view, privacy browsing, a smart search bar, and docking your laptop with a 4K screen. It says Eolie remembers default zoom levels per screen. Well, it sounds rather good. Next is Epiphany, and it's a web browser designed to be as lightweight and as fast as possible at the expense of many features found in other browsers. And that's the actual description, so I think Epiphany is like a basic browser. Next is Falkon, and Falkon is a newish and very fast Qt web engine browser. It aims to be a lightweight web browser available on all major platforms. So Falkon has all the standard functions you expect from a web browser. It includes bookmarks, history, and tabs. Beyond that, you can block ads with a built-in adblock plugin. You can block Flash content, if you can still find some, and edit the local certificates database with an SSL manager. It's not a bad browser. I like it, actually. Next is Iridium. It's a free, open, and Libra browser modification of the Chromium codebase, with privacy being enhanced in several key areas. Automatic transmission of partial queries, keywords, metrics to central services is inhibited and only occurs with consent. Konqueror, it's still going, but Konqueror is one of the most, as it says here, is one of the most advanced file managers and universal document viewers for KDE. Also allows you to view web pages. It's getting a little bit long in the tooth, and I don't know if it's still actively developed, but it's still available for KDE if you want it. Next, we have Lynx. So earlier we had Elinks, now we've got the original Lynx as Links, and it's a Lynx-like, this is getting confusing, then Lynx-like text browser. And with text and graphic modes, with many features like displaying tables, menus, etc. So it's like a fancy version of the classic Lynx, Lynx. Next we have, well, this is a weird one because this is actually accessed via the Linuxulator, the Linux API that FreeBSD can sometimes utilize. And this is a Linux version of Opera. Now, I haven't used Opera for a long time. I don't know what the current development is. I don't know what number it's at. I couldn't tell you. But this is version 12.16.3 or thereabouts. 12.16. And I don't know if this is old or new or I couldn't tell you. But still, Opera software is what is described as an industry leader in the development of web browsers for the desktop, device and mobile markets. Opera Browser has received international recognition from end users and industry press for being faster, smaller, and more standards compliant than other browsers. And it has gathered a cult following on the net. Next is Lynx. Now this is the daddy of them all. This is the Lynx. Lynx, and it's the oldest actively, and I actually do believe this, it's the oldest actively maintained console web browser. It is highly configurable and can act as a front end for a large number of network services. Although Lynx is fast and it's small and very stable, it makes no attempt to handle JavaScript or CSS formatting, so if you want that, you choose another browser. Other console browsers like Elinks tackle those languages with varying degrees of success. And Lynx is, to me, it's been a lifesaver on many occasions. Like, I'm setting up a FreeBSD system and I've got internet access, but I can't quite get the classic desktop to start up, or for whatever reason, maybe I've configured it wrong, which wouldn't be a stretch of the imagination. I can just start up Lynx on one virtual console, look up the answer, and go back into it and fix it. So it has saved me on many cases. It's almost an essential tool. I highly rate Lynx. Absolutely brilliant. Next is Midori, and it's a lightweight web browser. I kind of like Midori. I like the way it looks. It's got a nice feel to it. It's got full integration with GTK Plus 2 and GTK Plus 3. Fast rendering with WebKit, tabs, windows, and session management. Bookmarks are stored with Expel. I don't know what that's a good or bad thing. And it's also described as being extensible via ValaScript. So if you're into that, you can add things onto it, which is pretty cool. Next is Netsurf. Now, I've used Netsurf when I fire up the old RISC-OS machines, and it's very capable. It's described as lightweight cross-platform web browser, and it is. It supports HTML4 and CSS. I don't know, HTML5, I'm not sure. And provides small, fast, comprehensive web browsing solution. And it says Netsurf was originally written for RISC-OS. Now, RISC-OS is a classic British operating system developed by Acorn a long, long time ago when they first developed the ARM processors and the Archimedes machines. But, well, that came sometimes later, but it was very, very good for the time. And it's still a very capable browser, actually, so give that a try. Next, very quickly, we've got Otter Browser, and it's a project aiming to recreate the classic Opera 12 user interface using Qt5, and it does. It's very minimalistic, and you can have sometimes various degrees of success with Otter, but it's still a very capable browser. Next is Qutebrowser, and it's a keyboard-focused browser, so it's not for everyone, but if you're into keyboard and less of a mouse jockey, which I am, this may be for you. And with a minimal GUI, and they're not lying there. It's based on Python and PyQt5 and free software licensed under GPL. Next is Retawq, I think that's how you pronounce it, and it's described as an interactive multi-threaded network client or web browser for text terminals on computers with Unix-like operating systems. That's definitely FreeBSD. It's written in C, it's fast, it's small, and it's nicely configurable and comfortable. I don't know if it's still developed, but it's a nice little inclusion. Next, we've got Surf, and it's described as a simple web browser based on WebKit 2 and GTK+. So a lot of these browsers share the same underlying engine. It's just the interface on top which is different, and sometimes that can be a make or break deal if what you're looking for. It says it's able to display websites and follow links. Well, that's for a browser, I hope so. And it supports the XE embed protocol. That doesn't mean anything to me, which makes it possible to embed it into other applications. All right, okay. Furthermore, one can point Surf to another URI by setting its X properties. Not too technical for me, but if that sounds like your thing, give it a look. Next, we have the Tor Browser, and it's a customized version of Firefox Extended Service Release, or ESR, built specifically for internet browsing over the Tor anonymity network. So, and it says TB's configuration aims to mitigate attacks on the client's anonymity, including determining the client's actual IP address and browser fingerprinting. So if you can get this going, sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't, you could have a nice privacy-orientated Firefox-compatible browser. And lastly, but not leastly, is the W3M, and it's another text-based browser. It's very similar to Lynx, LYN, the classic Lynx, LYNX, but it has several features Lynx doesn't have, and you can render tables or render in frames. And it's not a bad little browser. And there is an option for a different install where you can actually include inline images, which is the one that I use here. Right, yes, so there you go. There's 24 browsers. A lot of them are perhaps the same. You might based upon WebKit 2 or stuff like that. And basically you're just getting different UIs. But that's a good thing because some of the user interfaces have built-in privacy or different abilities. Some are more minimalistic. Some are more customizable via the config files. Some have got everything built into the option. It's whatever you want. And that's a great thing. That's a great thing that Linux users have had for a long time, is lots of variations. A lot of people say, well, why do you recreate the same thing over and over? Well, because people have different ideas about how things should be implemented. And so rather than just having one program, you can have 2 or 3, maybe 4, based upon the same thing with slight different tweaks. And that's a great thing. You've got choice. Well, we've got it on FreeBSD as well. And we've got 24 browsers, maybe more, maybe I've missed some out. And if I have, let me know in the comment section down below. But some of these browsers, kind of the same, with different variations. And you pick the one which suits you. And I think that's brilliant. That's an excellent thing. But anyway, thanks for watching. It's been a non-technical, rather long, kind of like talky video. And it took a long time to put together, actually. It really did. But if you want, if you like this content, then please give me a like, thumbs up. If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down. And if you want to leave a comment, suggesting your own, if I haven't included any, then please do that. And if you want to see more content or not miss out, then please consider hitting the subscribe button. Anyway, it's great to be back. It's been a while. I haven't made a video for a couple of months, so I'm a little bit rusty. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. This and every other video on my channel has been made using FreeBSD and open source software.